Русский? Советский.
Hello, comrades, and welcome back to another episode of Ushanka Show, stories about life in the Soviet Union. Говорит и показывает Мичиган. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи. В эфире программа Ushanka Show. Today's topic should be interesting for many Americans because a lot of them believe that the United States is about to become communist.
Чего не смеетесь-то? Не смешно? Не поняли, да? Это Россия.
And while the Soviets were looking towards communism with great hope and excitement, like this poster says, our future is communism. Наше будущее – коммунизм. Most Americans were scared shitless of the communism. And just in case if America would start moving towards communism, let's learn what does it take to be a real communist builder. And by the way, this poster says, towards communism in unity towards the common goal. So not long ago, I stumbled upon this picture and it shows an interesting poster called A Moral Code of a Builder of Communism. Моральный кодекс строителя коммунизма. And before we begin, in order to be on the same page, let's quickly refresh our knowledge. What is communism? Race mixing is communism! Wrong answer. Social distancing equals communism. Wrong answer. Again. Okay, guys, let's be so for real, like my daughter says. Race mixing is not communism. Social distancing is not communism. Anything you don't like, you don't call communism, because communism is communism. Here's the official definition of communism, or as we say in Russian, communism. It's a classless, stateless, moneyless economic system in which workers control their means of production and resources are distributed from each according to their ability to each according to their need. Classless, stateless, moneyless economic system. Okay, so now we are ready to talk about what does it take to be a perfect builder of communism. When I stumbled upon this picture first time, I didn't think much about this poster. It looked like a handmade poster at some factory. Every Soviet factory had a person who was in charge of making local posters, you know, for the local like socialist competition or whatever going on. And it looked like someone told me like, hey, we need a poster about this moral code for the builders of communism, and the guy made it. And I even posted it on a subreddit USSR. And as you see, it got even 165 likes and 122 comments. And a lot of my friends, tankies, were like, sign me up, it sounds fantastic, I would like to be a builder of communism. Well, when I did some more digging, I was blown away, because this document is not just the moral code of a builder of communism. It's actually a set of principles of communist morality approved at the 22nd Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union back in 1961. And a while back I already made a video about 22nd Congress. It's where Nikita Khrushchev made his famous promise. He promised Soviet people that by 1981 we will enter the communist phase, which means we'll have cashless society and at least some items will be free at the grocery stores, for example meat. And to match his promise, Communist Party of the Soviet Union accepted the new program and new communist manifesto of our era. I also found interesting that this poster has 11 features for the builder of communism, but the original one had 12 principles, which is kind of convenient if you want to make a calendar out of it. And now let's go through all 12 principles of communist builder, and I'm totally cool if you pause this video 12 times and enter 12 comments. Maybe YouTube will notice this video. Ready, set, go. Number 1. Преданность делу коммунизма. Любовь к социалистической родине, к странам социализма. Devotion to the cause of communism. Love for the socialist motherland, for the countries of socialism. By the way, the banners around the people say Мир, peace, Slava KPSS, glory to the Communist Party of Soviet Union, К победе коммунизма, to the victory of communism, Труд, labor, and социальный прогресс, social progress. Otherwise, there's nothing really wild here. Sure, you need to love your motherland, even if it's socialist, and you need to like or love other countries that also practice socialism. Number 2. Добросовестный труд на благо общества. Кто не работает, тот не ест. Conscientious work for the good of society. He who does not work, neither shall he eat. I find this statement extremely confusing because communism is a society where there's plenty of everything. You even don't need money to get stuff, but if you don't want to work, you're gonna starve. Okay, moving on. Number 3. Забота каждого о сохранении и умножении общественного достояния. Concern of each for the preservation and increase of the public property. Okay, so nothing crazy here. Even Americans are for preservation and maybe improvement of public property like national park. Number 4. Высокое сознание общественного долга. Нетерпимость к нарушениям общественных интересов. Elevated consciousness of public duty. Intolerance of violators of public interests. Number 5. Коллективизм и товарищеская взаимопомощь. Каждый за всех. Все за одного. Collectivism and camaraderie mutual assistance. Each for all and all for one. Kremlin, we have a problem. We have two principles that kind of contradict each other. Number 2 tells us that he who does not work, neither shall he eat. Number 5 tells us that we should have mutual assistance, each for all and all for one. So which one is taking the priority? Number 6. Гуманные отношения и взаимное уважение между людьми. Человек человеку друг, товарищ и брат. Humane relations and mutual respect between people. A man is a friend, comrade and brother to another man. Number 7. Честность и правдивость. Нравственная чистота. Простота и скромность в общественной и личной жизни. Honesty and truthfulness. Moral purity. Simplicity and modesty in public and personal life. And speaking of simplicity and modesty in public and personal life, obviously Comrade Brezhnev didn't get this memo. Number 8. And actually, this one was missing from the poster that I found originally. I'm not sure why. Once again, number 8. Взаимное уважение в семье. Забота о воспитании детей. Mutual respect in the family. Care for raising children. Number 9. Непримиримость к несправедливости, тунеядству, нечестности, карьеризму, стяжательству. Okay. I have no idea how to pronounce these words, so I'll let Google do that for us.
Intransigence to injustice, parasitism, dishonesty, careerism, money grubbing. Intransigence to injustice, parasitism, dishonesty, careerism, money grubbing.
And if you paid any attention, number 9 kinda clashes with number 5, which claim collectivism and camaraderie mutual assistance, each for all and all for one. And suddenly we have hardcore attitude to parasitism, dishonesty, careerism, and money grabbing. Number 10. Дружба и братство всех народов СССР. Нетерпимость к национальной и расовой неприязни. Friendship and brotherhood of all the peoples of the USSR. Intolerance of national and racial hostility. And if you're interested in the topic of friendship and brotherhood of all the peoples of the USSR, I already have a couple of videos when I talked about Russification of Ukraine. Okay, moving along. Number 11. Непримиримость к врагам коммунизма, дело мира и свободы народов. Here's the same word again. Intransigence towards the enemies of communism, the cause of peace and freedom of peoples. And finally, number 12. Братская солидарность с трудящимися всех стран, со всеми народами. Fraternal solidarity with the workers of all countries, with all peoples. So these two last ones also kind of contradict each other. You have intransigence towards enemies of communism, while you also have fraternal solidarity with all the peoples. What about some of those people that are enemies of communism? And once I started digging, God bless internet, I found so much more information and different pictures of this moral code of the communist builder. For example, this is brochure that was published for the Soviet soldiers back in 1962. And on the left it says, «Воин, знай и выполняй требования морального кодекса строителя коммунизма». Soldier, know and perform the demands of the moral code for the builder of communism. Or look at this beauty. This is a moral code banner. I would love to add this thing to my collection. And before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about Nikita Khrushchev's speech at the 22nd Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. So in that speech, he announced that by 1980, communism will be built in the USSR in general. By this, he meant there will be a creation of the material and technical base of communism, exceeding the economic level of the most developed capitalist countries. First of all, of course, USA, including being on the first place per capita production, the highest standard of living in the world, and conditions for achieving an abundance of material and cultural goods. He also promised elimination of the remnants of differences between classes, their merging into classless society of communist workers, elimination of essential differences between the city and the village, and then between physical and mental labor, an increase in the economic and ideological community of nations, development of the characteristics of a person in a communist society, harmoniously combining high ideological commitment, broad education, moral purity, and physical perfection. And achievement of a situation where all citizens will take part in the management of public affairs as a result of the broadest development of socialist democracy, preparation of society for the full implementation of the principles of the communist self-government. All that was supposed to be done in 20 years, in 4 5-year plans. And if you remember history, none of this had happened. Nikita Khrushchev himself was removed from power just 3 years later in 1964, and by 1980, instead of the communist stage, we entered the great stagnation stage. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. You can always support my work with your likes, with your comments, with your super thanks. You can become a member of my channel. As well, you can support me on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching Ushanka Show. We'll talk to you soon. До побачення. Goodbye.